This is how to change your life in 2 months. All successful people are doing the same 3 things which have the potential to change your life forever. Look closely because David Goggins lost 60 pounds in 2 months using these 3 points. Every day for 3 months, David Goggins did 5 hours total on exercise bike, 1 hour studying, 2 hours swimming, 3 hours lifting, and 2 to 6 miles running. What do these successful people know that we don't? Is it luck? Well, it turns out there are 3 points you can use to set yourself up for success in less than 3 months, and they're pretty easy for us to start and stay motivated. You actually don't need to do as much as David Goggins did because it's all about the small habits. This is the idea of MED, minimum effective dose. It completely changed the entire fate of the British cycling team. Their team absolutely skyrocketed when they understood how to use MEDs. The MED is a way to get something done even when you don't feel like it. Let's look at the British cycling team, which in over 100 years hadn't won a single Tour de France race. This all changed 5 years after the new performance instructor, Dave, took over the British cycling team and Bradley Wiggins became the first British cyclist to win the Tour de France in history.
Bradley Wiggins, the Brits, the British.
So how is this possible? Well, Dave would work on things that seemed useless to the team, like the type of seats the bikers had, the best way for them to wash their hands, and the pillows for the best sleep. It had nothing to do with biking.
Had different biofeedback sensors that each rider would wear, and then they adjusted the programs to each individual.
The team thought it was doomed to failure from this man, but the results spoke otherwise. In the years after Bradley's win, the team had won 66 gold medals and 5 Tour de France victories. So how does a team of less than average people turn into world champions in less than a decade? It's what Dave knew the whole time. The power of the minimum effective dose, doing the smallest things to improve his team every day just to get them a little bit better. Luckily, there's a way to apply this to your own life to get similar results, but the hardest part is finding which habits to follow and which person has the most successful habits.
After researching what the wealthy do every day, it's come down to 4 habits. And if you implement these 4 habits, there's no doubt that your life will change in about 2 months. And the first habit is gaining more knowledge. What if you had the knowledge to create the same successful business over and over? You would be the richest man on earth. How exactly do you gain knowledge? I mean, yeah, there's YouTube, but I rarely see people going on YouTube for education. But this video right here is an example of gaining knowledge. You can get this exact same knowledge from books and other videos because that's exactly what I do. The second habit will make you happier and productive, and it's throwing your worries down on a piece of paper. After doing this, you realize that most of your problems are stupid, and this is exactly how therapists feel. I mean, you could write down anything. It could be the homework you didn't finish today, the fact that you didn't eat healthy, or you ran over a cat or something. After that, write down why you're grateful for these bad things happening to you. You're grateful for not doing the homework because that means you can improve more tomorrow by doing just a little bit. Or if you didn't eat healthy today, you can improve tomorrow by just eating a little bit healthier. If you ran over a cat, I'm sorry.
Bro, what?
This third habit is something we're always told but we never do, and it's physical exercise.
Everybody want to be a bodybuilder, but don't nobody want to lift no heavy ass weight. Stay hard!
The hardest part for me when I first started was trying to keep the habit going. But I'll actually tell you exactly how to be consistent with these habits later in the video. For the next habit, let's consider a scenario. You're sitting in a room talking to your best friend. You check your phone for a second and completely miss his whole story. Now you need to ask him to repeat his whole story, and you look like an idiot. This won't happen again if you just try to find your presence.
In, out. In, out.
The best way to train your presence is through meditation, but not the type you've been told about. When we think of meditation, it seems like the generic sit down and start breathing in and out. But really, all you need to do is nothing. One study showed that if you sit down for half an hour a day for 14 days, your brain will physically change to make your memory and cognition much better. It's crazy how little you have to do to get insane benefits. Just sit down, don't force thoughts, don't force away thoughts for 5 minutes, and you're done. But realistically, we won't start all of these habits tomorrow and keep it going forever. I couldn't even start half of these because I thought I was busy and they were useless.
Honestly, some of these habits do seem kind of useless right now, so I will tell you my mistakes and my tips on how to stay consistent with habits, many habits for years, but make sure you don't choose the wrong habits.
This is why you get to choose the few things that actually matter. Let's look at Mr. Beast. What if he were to focus on working out and going to college at the same time he was working on his YouTube channel?
Let's to leave this roller coaster car toilet.
His channel wouldn't be nearly as good as it is today. This is where you need essentialism. Mr. Beast chose to work on only two things, YouTube and YouTube. He didn't care about fitness, his diet, or how he was doing in school. He chose only the essential, what he thought was important. But how do we find what to do with our time? I mean, there's so much stuff to do to get rich. Well, who do you think has a higher chance of being successful? The person who tries out career path, but then is told about starting a dropshipping business, in real estate, and the stock market, or the man who chose to stick with psychology and computer science for 10 years and made a company on that? I think we both know the answer. For you to achieve what you want, choose one or two things and focus on only that. This way you have a unique skill set that no one else has, and that means you're competing with much less people. For example, on YouTube many people do fitness, but what about fitness with real science or fitness with the reactions to other fitness? So we got what we want to do down, and it turns out you have to do very little to achieve really big things in a small amount of time.